You know that saying that everyone has the same 24 hours in their day? Well, something that's true across industries, professions, countries, and time is that those who know how to suck the most out of those 24 hours tend to be light years ahead of those who don't. But we also know something else. The thousands of videos out there about time management, the classes, and all the suggestions all say the same things. And generally, they don't work. So if you really don't want to learn how to manage your time and get ahead, and you're not going to be putting in the work that I'm going to be asking you to do, please stop watching this and just go down some other YouTube rabbit hole. But if you want to change, if you really want to learn how to manage your time in ways that are unique and different, that are going to change the way you think about time management, you are in the right place. Over the last 30 years in leadership, I've been busy. It wasn't just the piles of assignments that at work that I had to deal with. I had to manage being a father. I had to be part of the family, trying to do stuff in the community and trying to stay healthy, etc. So I fully understand what it's like to be exhausted all the time. And I watched all of those videos and went to all of those classes about time management, and frankly, I've given a few of them that all talk about the same thing. Plan your day, create a calendar, eliminate distractions and clutter, or take breaks. I tried to do some of it, but it felt off, and I was never really successful at it. There was a moment, though, where it all came crashing down on me. I was working full-time. I was going to school full-time. I'd just been asked to take on a really large assignment at my church. Then I was dealing with this massive family issues. One day, I got a call from my ex, and it just literally sent me over the edge. I had a full mental and emotional breakdown that saw me in a dark bedroom on my bed for a pretty long time. As I was laying there, I knew I had to do things differently. I had to figure out how to fix this because I was never going to be happy, and I was never going to be able to take care of what really mattered in my life, which is my family, if I didn't figure out how to be more effective with my time. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to share with you some of the really unconventional ways that I've figured out to manage my time more effectively. And I'm not going to give you 3 or 4 just like everyone else. I'm going to give you 10 because what works for some of you may not work for others. So I just want to give you a lot of options here. Number 1 is reverse planning. A lot of times when we sit down to do a project, we know what the end goal is, but what we don't do is we don't plan our time to accomplish that. If you have a set time, so like for instance, I have to get this video done by the end of the day. And so to do that, I know that this has to get done. But if I just press record and started going through it, I would never get it done. So what I have done to create this video is I know that I'm supposed to get it done by 4 o'clock today so that I can set it off to marketing. Well, to do that, I need to start the video at 10 o'clock. And so from 10 to 10:30, I write the script. From 10:30 to 10:45, I do this, and I branch it out like that. So reverse plan allows you to really break it down into bite-sized chunks and say, I need to get X done within this amount of time so that I can accomplish the entire goal or the entire task. Number 2 is deliberate procrastination. Now, this is not going to work for every single person. So if you're like me, this really works. What I do is I take certain tasks that are not critically important and I postpone them as much as I possibly can so that it bunches up against a timeline. And what happens for me personally is that when I have a timeline sitting right in front of me, all of a sudden my juices start to flow. Now, it's sitting in the back of my head this whole time. I know I've got to get that task done. And so what I'm doing is I'm allowing my subconscious to actually start producing and doing the things that I need to do in planning for this. And then when the moment comes, I literally open up my subconscious and say, okay, how am I supposed to do this? And so by deliberately procrastinating certain things, that allows you to build that energy and get that energy from, I need to get this done. Number 3 is energy management over time management. Your body is different than my body. The way that your brain works is different than my brain. And so for me to tell you, you really need to spend this time of the day is going to be your most effective, that's not realistic. Now, science has done a lot of research on this, and in general, not everybody, but in general, working from the first 3 hours of the workday from 9 to noon tend to be the time that most people have the most energy. So if that's you, stuff everything you can into those 3 or 4 hours and really try to get as much done as you can in that time. But like after lunch, as your body's digesting all of that food and that blood is leaving your brain to go to your stomach to digest, that's not going to be the time to try to do great things. So manage your energy rather than just managing your time. Figure out what works best for you and do the most stuff that you possibly can during that particular time period. If I'm being totally truthful with you, I really think I have a case of undiagnosed ADHD. My brain just kind of like bleh all the time, and I'm figuring out different things and thinking about different things. So number 4 is what I call time theming. The idea of me sitting down and saying, okay, today I need to, from start to finish, I need to do this project. It's really, really restrictive. But if I create a theme for the day, or even a theme for half of the day, like for instance, maybe what I do is I say Creative Mondays. And Creative Mondays for me are days that I just sit down and I just jot down notes. I do meditation, I do thinking, and I do planning around certain things. And I'm just creative. I'm building things in my mind. Nothing is structured, but I'm building things. And then on Tuesday afternoon is my building afternoon. And so I take those ideas and I put them into a structure. What that does is that allows me to be creative and allows me to flow with certain things so that I don't feel hemmed in and my brain goes, I don't feel like doing this right now. Number 5 is Parkinson's law inversion. Parkinson's law basically says that work will fill the allotted time. So if you've got a certain amount of time, work will fill it. Well, if you invert that, what I do intentionally is that I reduce the amount of time that I say that I have for a particular task. And I've used this in leadership. Don't tell anybody. I've used this in leadership a lot of times where, if I've got an hour and I think it's probably going to take an hour to get through this whole thing with this individual, I say, I've got 45 minutes or I've got 30 minutes. Because what that does is that reduces the amount of extraneous crap and it gets rid of the overthinking and that perfectionism. It just slams everything in so you don't have time for, like I said, the extraneous stuff. So that's Parkinson's law inversion. So the next one I learned from Sheldon Cooper from Big Bang Theory and from a bodybuilding coach that I used to see, obviously a very long time ago. It's called decision automation. So what you do is you take decisions that you need to make and you find ways to automate them. So for instance, with my bodybuilding coach, what he used to say is get all of your meals done on Sunday for the entire week. So you don't have to decide what you're going to eat. You don't have to do the prep. You're already doing all of it. And like Sheldon Cooper, what does he do? Well, he's got, and I'm going to get this wrong, he's got laundry on Saturday nights. On Wednesday nights, they eat from this place or whatever. So any decisions that you need to make on a regular basis, do it all in one kind of lump, or find a way to automate those decisions so you don't have to think about them and it just automatically happens. Number 7 is ultradian rhythm alignment. You've heard of circadian rhythm, which is the process in your body that regulates like sleep-wake cycles. It regulates hormone secretion. And so these are like 24-hour waves that happen throughout the day. Ultradian rhythms are shorter little rhythms that naturally happen with your body that regulate things like hunger, thirst, etc. What you have to understand about ultradian rhythms is that they occur in about 90 to about 120 minute cycles. And these cycles are actually perfect for you to recognize when it's time to take a break, when it's time to slow down, and when you're going to be productive. So in those ultradian rhythms, learning, are you a 90-minuter or a 120-minuter? And using that as kind of your natural time to take a break. So it takes a lot of awareness, it takes recording this, however you choose to do it, figure out what your ultradian rhythm is and use that natural system to figure out when to take a break. While we're talking about breaks, I want to take number 8 to share with you a caution about taking breaks. The way that your brain works is that we are naturally lazy animals, I guess, technically. We are naturally lazy. And so what our brain really wants to do is it really wants to shut down. So what happens, and we've discovered this in science, is that when you are focused on a particular activity, your brain very, very quickly wants to stop focusing. So the second that you stop focusing, all of your brain activity just drops. It takes a lot. It's kind of like trying to start a cold car in the middle of winter. It actually takes a lot to start that engine back up. And so when you take a break, recognize it's going to take you between 15 to 20 minutes to get your brain back into what you were doing before. And so be patient with yourself for those 15 to 20 minutes. If you get frustrated in those 15 to 20 minutes and you're like, I can't get this done, again, that just builds up the stress. So here's the caution. Recognize you're lazy. We all are. And it takes a lot to get your brain back to where it was before you took that break. So just be a little patient with yourself. Seems like the end, we're kind of talking about our brains slowing down and being okay with that and being a little bit lazy. So number 9 is schedule time to be productively, completely unproductive. You know, your brain is not designed to keep going. And as you keep putting stress on it, keep putting pressure on it, it does weird things to your neurons. And so your brain needs time to be completely unproductive and focus on rebuilding those energy reserves. One of the things I love doing is I love photography. I love going out and taking pictures of nature and architecture. And so if you schedule time to be completely unproductive, but do it in a way that allows you to do something productive, that's so helpful. One of the things that people think I'm saying here is go binge watch TV. Again, I do not want you to go binge watch Big Bang Theory because that's not productive. Do something during that time that is going to build your energy reserve. So be conscientious about scheduling completely unproductive times. Number 10 is something that a lot of people talk about, but we don't really do a good job of doing it. Number 10 is being okay with having a day that sucks. You know, there are some days where you wake up and you've got a schedule. You know what you're going to do, and you get into the office or you get into work or wherever you're going, and you sit down and you're like, all right, let's go. And your brain goes, yeah, I don't think so. That's okay. There are days when that happens and you can't get frustrated with yourself. You need to be okay with those days. If you can just get that much done, that's progress. And you need to celebrate that. However you choose to celebrate it. For me, it's a protein shake. I have a particular protein shake that I love. And if I'm having a crappy day, but I get just, that much done, I go make myself that protein shake. So whatever it is that you're able to get done on those really crappy days, celebrate it. Be okay with it, because guess what? You moved closer to your goal. Listen, if you made it this far in the video and you've watched everything, there's a really good chance that you're a leader who is tired, you're stressed, you're burnt out, and the only thing that you really want is you want to get control over your life that allows you to have a life outside of work. Really what we want as leaders is to have more money, more freedom, and more influence in not only the lives of the people that we work with, but our own lives. And like I said to you earlier, I get that. I have been there. I've been exhausted. And frankly, still there are some days that I am that way, but it doesn't have to be like that. One of the things that we do is that I have a program called the Boardroom, and it is a 12-week course that we have. It's not even a course, it's a program really, because a course is just, here, let me give you the information. It's a program where you and I are going to work together hand in hand to help you get to that place where you feel confident in your role as a leader, you feel confident in your skills as a leader, and you have the power and ability to create that type of influence in your life that you want, so that after you're done at work and you've created great things, you get to go home and create even better things. If that's something that you'd like to learn more about, just comment below Boardroom and I'll send you a link to a PDF that you can download and just look at it. And if you want to take part in it, great, fantastic. If you don't, that's fine. Keep watching these videos, keep learning. And at the end of the day, I'm here to help you in any way that I possibly can. Also down in the comments below in the description, you're also going to find a link to connect with me. If there is something going on in your world or in your business that you're just like, I don't know how to deal with this, let's chat. Let's just chat for a few minutes. It's free. There's no sales. Again, I just want to help. I really hope that you enjoyed this video. If you did, please like it. And if there's somebody in your world that you know needs this message or these tips on how to be better at time management, please forward it on to them.